If you're a serious hunter and you haven't tried Hex yet, this is the edge you're missing. Hunters have always talked about animals having a sixth sense, feeling you before they ever see you. Hex works by completely blocking your body's natural energy, helping you get closer without tipping them off. Most hunters don't believe it at first, until they hunt in it. And once they do, oh, it makes them believers fast. Go to hexhunting.com. That's HECS hunting.com. And use code WAYPOINT to save $20 on a full Hex system.
Planning a fishing trip shouldn't feel like a full-time job. With fishingbooker.com, you can find and book the perfect fishing trip within minutes. Fishingbooker.com connects you with trusted fishing captains around the world. Booking is fast, easy, and secure, with access to verified customer reviews, loyalty rewards, and around-the-clock customer support. Everything you need to book with confidence is in one place. So head to fishingbooker.com and start planning your next fishing adventure today. All
right, Survival and Basic Badass Podcast 2026, new prepper gear guide. There's a lot of new things happening out there, and you know, everybody loves gear, right? When it comes to prepping, and we like the cool gadgets and stuff. We actually just did an episode that maybe knowledge is slightly more important, but you know, whatever, you got to do your thing. But keeping new gear and new stuff just keeps it kind of fun and fresh. And hey, if you got the money, Kevin, I mean, we work 1 million hours a day, so
right, we should have plenty of extra cash, right?
Right. Lots of extra cash. That's what we're always talking about. So there's a lot of new things out there. And as a prepper, there's cool things. Now, you guys know for me, it always comes down to guns, right? I'm like, oh, what's the new gun thing? We just talked about a big build. And I had mentioned a partisan trigger was the brand. And it was, they call them FRTs, forced reset triggers. You guys may remember, I think it was Rare Breed Triggers was the big one that had the lawsuit. I used a Rare Breed trigger and I wasn't happy. I felt it was kind of junky and didn't work. But again, getting full auto to work is kind of a feat. It really is. It's not the easiest system. They're dirty, they're messy, they're whatever. So a lot going on. Anyway, I found, and my big thing was a lot of the triggers with the 3 selectors have you know, where you have a safe, semi-auto and full auto kind of position, right? I will say a forced reset trigger, if working properly, is you can't tell the difference between full auto. I've had cops who have full auto rifles use the forced reset and use theirs. And we compared things, and there is no difference. You cannot feel a difference. I'm amazed.
How is it not illegal yet?
They're working on it.
Yeah.
The answer is Trump. Basically, they banned the forced reset triggers. The ATF went and knocked on people's doors and grabbed them back. And for some of the Rare Breed ones, or, you know, made people sign papers. I got rid of mine, and, you know, just made people feel uneasy.
Right.
I actually did speak with an ATF agent on that and personally, and he said that pretty much the videos and the things you saw about knocking on doors and that kind of thing, it was a reason to go knock on a door was usually when it happened. It wasn't like, hey, we're just going after anybody who bought one of these. It was, oh, let's go check on that guy. It was more like that situation was the story I heard, but that was, again, one guy's opinion. But he was an ATF agent, so, you know, I don't know. But it was opinion, right? You know, we just, whatever. So anyway, the deal is with those triggers, then the court overturned it and they said, hey, they're completely legal. And then it was going to get appealed and go to the next thing. However, when Trump got into office, he told his, you know, FBI, Department of Justice, whoever it is, to not pursue it and just drop the case. So at the moment, they're legal. That can be overturned at any time. The problem is they're following a strict definition of what a machine gun is. And by the definition, they didn't hit the mark. So that's where the ATF fell short, you know? And basically you can always count on somebody to find a smarter way around it.
Right.
Now, were the rare breed triggers, in my opinion, better than nothing? Not really. Because again, you're throwing a lot of ammo, and ammo is expensive, and I don't want to just waste ammo. So if I do, it's got to work. It's got to be something I can count on.
Right.
And that was the thing, is with the 3-position trigger, when you use it for a single shot, the semi-auto, it wasn't that good of a trigger. It was kind of crappy, and I wouldn't want that trigger. And if I'm putting a trigger in a machine gun kind of thing, I want it to be my go-to gun, right? I want it to work for everything. So I did find one from Partisan Arms, and I got to say, nothing but pleased. They're very expensive. It's about $270. When you get the right deal at a certain place that has optics in the name, they get you a pretty good deal. Usually I think mine, it ended up costing about $240. When you got it, you realize, you know what? It doesn't work completely flawless. I need a heavier buffer tube. And this is the same problem you have with any trigger you buy for forced reset. The trigger for single shot is not the best trigger I own, but it's better than mil spec by a lot. So it is a good trigger. And then when you go to the full auto, it's really freaking awesome. So the big thing is you need a heavier buffer tube, which is the weight in the recoil. I did find a company that sells, you want an H3, which is like the very heaviest. And you really kind of want a stiffer spring. Geisley makes a nice stiffer spring. I think it's like the Geisley, like I think mine said like H2 wire, whatever. I bought it with a buffer, but then actually still went to the heavier H3 buffer. I found these from Tromix Lead Delivery Systems for $29 that seem to work pretty great as far as the buffer and being the right weight and doing the right thing. I don't know if you guys remember a while back, but I'd gotten into they make Adams Arms make a piston system, because when you go to full auto, you would not believe, you drop one magazine and that thing is filthy inside. There is carbon everywhere in that gun, and you got to like really clean it. So I was like, oh, the binary system, the whole point is to put the gas out at the end of the barrel. You can watch a video on that out. They're really awesome, Adams Arms. But so I grabbed my upper that has the binary system, and it ended up not really working. It ended up having as many problems or more than when I went with the other. So I ended up going back to the standard gas system and putting that upper on it. But you did need the bigger buffer. All right. So Partisan trigger, drop in, super easy to install. Love it. Worth it all day. Something you guys should check out. I stand behind that as something you want to get. But there is, let me preface, any forced reset trigger, anytime you're going to full auto, there's going to be a lot of setup issues that you're going to have to fight through, and be prepared for that, of some time and burning magazines before you get consistent reliability over and over again. That's it. All right. Now there's another cheap option that when I went to the gathering at the Palmetto State Armory gathering in South Carolina, there is something called super safety triggers. And I ended up getting, these are like, I think they were $60 there for the little kit. And it was funny because the lady stops me and she's telling me about it. Now you'll see with these, it's got like a push button. That's actually your safety switch, right? And it's like a push button from one side. So it's basically all the way to the left is safe, all the way to the right is semi, and then in the middle is like the full auto kind of version, right? They're kind of weird. They sell those with a switchable, which seems like the way I would go, but it's like $60 versus $150. I the lady trying to sell it to me, I told her, I said, look, I said, I've done like the Franklin binary triggers. I've done a lot of these triggers. And if it's not a drop in, it's a lot of freaking work to set them up and get them to work properly. She's like, oh no, if you can install a trigger, it's no problem. It'll be perfect and no headaches. And I was like, that doesn't sound true to me in any way at all whatsoever. And I kind of was on the verge of rude. You guys probably wouldn't expect that from me. But I was right there of like, no, I think you're lying to me. And then I got home and I was like cursing and swearing and damn, that lady lied to me. And oh dude, because it was funny because I didn't even want to go for it. But my buddy was like, yeah, let's buy it $60 and you can set it up. It'll be great. And I'm like, I know what this is. And I go home and we spent the whole afternoon trying to get it right. We couldn't even get it to, you had to take a grinder to the upper, not in the direction,
just to get it to fit.
But when you go on YouTube, they're like, oh, it won't even cycle. Like you can't even get it to do anything without like the back edge of the upper needed to be ground down. And I'm like, that's ridiculous. That's the dumbest thing I ever heard. And it just was too much work. It absolutely can get you there. It can work. But I don't think it's the right call. That's the answer. So that's my update on triggers. If you want a single shot trigger, you guys know that the Timney AR-15 trigger is where my heart is. But whatever, you do you, right? But moving past triggers, Kevin, you found some kind of basically survival hard drive. Tell me about that.
Yeah. It was called the prepper disk.
Prepper disk. All right.
Yeah. Now, basically what it is, power's out, internet's out. You need to look stuff up online though. And you can just hook this up to your laptop and it's going to have almost anything you can think of that you could access. Medical information, everything from encyclopedia, Wikipedia, anything that you can think of to look up, it's going to have on there as far as medicinal plants, growing, planting and growing your vegetable garden, raising livestock, any information that you're trying to access and look up, you can have it right there. And you don't have to have internet access. You have a little bit of battery on your computer and you can plug this guy in and you're ready to go.
Nice. Now
it seems like a pretty interesting thing to have on your.
Now, as you guys know, excuse me, everything with prepping, with anything in life really is it's going to cost you either time or money, right? And this is not cheap. They sell it as a like micro SD card. It's like $159, but this guy did a lot of work, and that's 512 gig is where he's basically looking at. They have the an actual like hard drive, and then they have like a mid-grade kind of hard drive that you can do, remote disk to plug in. But so with that, is it possible to gather all this information on your own and put it into a drive and you would know exactly what it is and it's from trusted sources? Yes, absolutely. You could take a hard drive and set stuff aside. You could also take that old iPod that's lying in a drawer and you could load it up with all your favorite episodes of the Survival and Basic Badass podcast.
That would solve all your
just
problems.
Zip through to the episodes. See, secret of the pros there. Right. So you could do that, or you could, gather up like maps and weather things and whatever it is you think is relevant. your home doctor stuff, all your prepper books on file. We actually, I know I got a friend. If you guys, I'll see if I can get the link in the show notes, but somebody had sent me a link to a like Google Drive that had every freaking like military manual in it. And this has everything, the survival, the SAS, all that stuff. And we just threw it, bam, and it's in there. I'll see if I can get that link for you and make it accessible to you guys so you can download all the manuals. And that way, maybe even some of the more questionable US military manuals that people don't like downloading, but you could be like, well, I just downloaded the whole thing. I didn't know he was going to give me that. Woo. But hey, if it's acceptable for the military, then it should be acceptable for everybody. Right. So that's not an affiliate or a sponsor in any way, that company, Prepper Disc, but it is really a great idea. And to be honest, if you're not going to put the time and the effort into doing the research and putting it together, then something like that sounds like a real slam dunk. And, but again, we're talking about $159 for an SD card. Right. But again, it's time or money, man. What's it worth to you, right?
Mm-hmm. And
some jackasses will pay $230 for a trigger when you can buy an AR trigger for $30.
Yeah.
So
for real.
You do you. I mean, and then you're out burning in like 20 minutes. I went through $109 of ammo that we had just got I was like, oh, wait a minute. I'm setting up your trigger and we just burned over $100.
And you're complaining about, spending this much on a trigger and then you blow through twice as much in ammo playing with it.
Right. So really, what's going to be more useful? Having a gun with full auto where you just waste ammo, or having all the information that you need to survive the apocalypse? I kind of leaning towards the trigger, but you do you, right?
Well, I mean, a lot of that information is it's great because it's accessible when you need it. You know what I mean? Like, you can read all sorts of medical books and books on farming and books on everything, but when you need to access that information, it can be hard to find. And it's nice having it right there at your fingertips.
And realistically, a good prepper library is going to cost you over $150 too.
Easily.
So, books. So, but we should probably revisit the prepper library and talk about books again. Do another episode.
Speaking of books, I've got this book I got a couple of months ago. A couple of months ago. It's called The Book: The Ultimate Guide to Rebuilding Civilization, and it's pretty damn good. It's great.
If you search the book, it has things are super detailed. Right. We had pictures and they go into, how to make things,
how to make batteries, how to make penicillin, how to make, concrete, windmills, water mills,
whatever it is. They kind of covered it. So I know if you search the book, again, I'll try and get the link in the notes here, but it's not there yet, but I'll get it there. And I think that if you use the code BADASS, it might save you a couple of bucks on it.
Yeah, it's not cheap, but it's to me, it's well worth the price that they're charging for it.
Again, having the resource and the knowledge right there at your fingertips is pretty awesome. That's what I can, report on that. What other kind of new stuff? Leatherman's, right? So Leatherman, not new stuff, but the rebar is the go-to. I don't even know if they make it anymore, honestly, but I know you can buy that bad boy on eBay. That's what I can tell you. And that's my go-to knife or multi-tool for that. Where are you with knives, Kevin? What do you like in knives these days?
I've been actually working with some Bowie knives. I've had to do some animal butchering, and if you've ever done that, you know that you have to have razor sharp knives.
Yes.
And as far as just basic bushcraft skills, keeping your knives sharp and knowing how to sharpen your knives is a big deal. And I spent a lot of time with this the knife I was going to butcher with, and went out and cut up a duck, and then I realized it wasn't sharp enough. I needed to spend another hour working on it. You know,
feathers can really get in the way of things.
Yeah,
you can also make things a good mess. But
yeah, and keeping it clean. I don't know what happened, but I had blood all over my clothes. I definitely ruined my sweatshirt and my jeans that I was wearing.
It looks like a massacre happened after. Yeah, I know.
Right. It was a mess. But I mean, having a little bit of practice with that sort of stuff and using the right knife. A Bowie knife is not the right knife for butchering.
No. And
I was looking at some knives, like the best ones that I found are ones that they use for that the Jews use for what do they call it? Halil, proper butchering of animals.
Oh, I thought you were going to tell me something about the circumcision. So
no, I don't know if it's the same knife or not that they use for that. But I mean, having a straight blade with a razor sharp edge is really what you need to be dealing with when it comes to butchering animals. And anybody that's butchered animals will know that having the right knife and having the right equipment for it is a big, it's a must.
Like that.
So I've got myself a bench grinder now. I'm going to do some work on practicing with the kitchen knives and getting everything straightened up. But I think that another big thing that I've been seeing a lot is the new solar powered generators. They're getting better and better. Battery packs that you can set up. I'm not just talking about solar power for your house, but like like battery packs where you can charge up your computer, your phone. Having access to information when the power's out, it's a big deal. It's a big deal, even if it's just a radio or getting a light, an LED light working in the house at night.
Yep. No, absolutely. So when it comes to skinners, it's funny. I was searching the one that I have, and it must not be available anymore. But I have like a Gerber skinner set. It took a minute to find it. While you were talking, but this is what I have and use. Doesn't look all stubby and short. I think this picture's condensed a little bit, but and that it's just nice to have that little, get in like fillet knife, but also to have like the gut hook kind of thing and on there makes it nice and easy. But there's definitely something, about having good knives for that. And again, it's stuff that you actually practice and use, that you're going to notice. I bought, I think they're for like fish, like some fish fillet knives or gut knives that I use for, a lot of the rabbit butchering, getting in there. And just, again, like you said, just having something that's super sharp is the key, to getting in there. Also, so next thing, moving past knives a little bit, although knives are awesome, and having a good Bowie knife just makes you more like manly. That's what I found. We gave away one at Prepper Camp last year. And speaking of new gear and new cool things, Prepper Camp is maybe where you want to go and check it out. Oh, I got the wrong dates. I got last year's dates on there. But search Prepper Camp. I think it's in August. And end of August, around the 19th or somewhere in there this year. And I will be there. I will be a speaker, officially invited, not always every year. So you got to watch. I've been, ever since I went, I've been there every year. However, there was a little question on my invitation. It maybe got lost in the mail until the last year. And then it came through. So it was kind of I was going to invite you, but somebody better came along. And then it turned out they weren't better. And we really just want you back. And we're sorry about that. Yeah, that's what I thought. And just remember, the badass is the guy you want. And when it comes to speakers. So another cool thing that I checked out, and again, not quite as cool as I wanted it to be. So you guys have heard me talk about night vision and thermal, and ATN is kind of the go-to company on that. And I have this Thor thermal scope that's freaking amazing. Like, it is a game changer when you go out. Now, thermal doesn't give you the identification. I have the cheapest one that you can get. They actually have like a mini now that's like,
How much is the cheapest one that you can get, though?
I think now it's
not
around
very cheap, is it?
$800. The one I got,
Yeah.
I think I got on sale at like Bud's Guns or something for like $6.99. But that was like a rare special deal. Mine didn't take pictures or video. I think it was the Thor LT is what it is. But I gotta say, the battery's held up. I'm about 3 years in. I leave it in the safe and I grab that gun when I want to go out and do something. I can kind of monitor the charge, but it has no problem holding the battery for 6 months. And, you know, and I can just go grab it and it's just going to work. So that's pretty freaking awesome. I was excited. They just came out with thermal binoculars. And again, when you're like, oh, reasonably priced, yeah, $1,500 is reasonably priced, then yeah. And you know, whatever. But they also, that's not like the premium range and distancing you'd be thinking of if you bought the $1,500 binoculars. That's like, you get what you get at $1,500 because you're getting the discount version. This is what they look like. You'll note in the middle there, there's a they have infrared. So these are daytime binoculars. These are, they will film and take picture. They will do rangefinder. They will, because you got to throw in all the extras when you're charging somebody $1,500. I mean, that's you know, you know how it is, right? So daytime, pretty clear. But again, if I wanted daytime binoculars, these aren't, you could buy a probably better pair of daytime binoculars for like under $60. I say I have these Bushnells that are like, I always get them on sale for like 20 or 30, and they're freaking awesome. And I can go out and see everything and I'm nothing but happy. I'm sure I have them in a drawer I can go dig out when you're talking in a minute. But these do night vision with the infrared. Now that I can't beat with Bushnells for $40. And that's a big thing. Now, they do have the thermal option. Whoa. They have a thermal option that I have yet to figure out. But I got to say, that sounds very concerning and like, oh, well, they're probably broken. Well, it took me about a day to figure out. I mean, literally probably 2 hours, maybe 3 hours, just to be able to see clearly in the daytime with them. Then it took me another hour to get night vision working properly. So the next step is thermal. And I haven't even gotten there. Right now, when I hit the button for thermal, I just see kind of a bunch of black squiggly lines. And I don't know what's going on. And I don't really know is the answer. So I would hold off on that purchase until I get back to you with a little more thorough,
a little more experience, a little
but
practice.
I can tell you for $1,500, there is way too much personalization and user setup involved. I am not exactly ecstatic. Whereas, like I said, I have their night vision scope, as a night vision scope. That one I just bought used off eBay for like $300. That's kind of, I just throw it around, but that's got a big infrared. Those of you who really know about wanting to be tactical, you know, you don't really want infrared because it gives away your position. But if you're out hunting foxes, infrared sounds freaking great. That's the way to go. Because the thing is, I know 1,500 sounded ridiculous for night vision and thermal, but let me tell you, if you buy real night vision and thermal, you're at like 10 grand or more. So,
or more.
Yeah. So, you know, it's all relative. This works again off infrared, but infrared is what keeps you at 600 to 1,000 versus the, you know, 10,000, or I guess starting at 3,000 is very crappy, no infrared, night vision. So that's something to keep in mind. But I don't know, Kevin, thoughts on the world, or where are we at here? What else you got? Is that?
Yeah. Well, I mean, that's basically all I wanted to go over with gear. Obviously there's a lot going on in the world aside of that. Maybe we could do another podcast on that at some point, but definitely seems like we're ramping down with war with Iran. I'm not really sure what's going on
We'll
now,
probably
because
pick
it's not a
another
war, it
country to
is a
start
war.
with.
It sounds like Trump's getting bored. It's hard to get into the middle of a war and then be like, I'm tired of this.
America doesn't have the big resolve, but it's funny when the leaders don't even have the resolve. It's like, yeah, I'm going to start
Right.
it, but yeah, I don't even. It's not even like the people are like, oh, this is ridiculous. It's like, yeah, already, let's just do something else.
Mm-hmm.
Iran,
Yeah.
pish posh, whatever.
Yeah.
Yeah, no, I understand that.
Yeah. Oil's still up. Gas is still up. It's going to be up for a while, apparently, because nobody's doing shit about that.
It's funny because at work, they were like, oh, just remember there's other plants that can make the engines that you make, and your job could go away at any time, because if you guys can't step up the quality, then we'll just replace you. And then now, like literally a week after they told us that, they're like, oh, this whole Strait of Hormuz thing, we're the only place that can make these engines, and nothing can get to the US unless we do it. We need to triple our production, because there's no other way unless you guys step up and start making more, because you're the only ones who can do it. And we're like, wait, because you were just telling us that we're expendable and you'll kick us
we're
out.
all replaceable, and now all of a sudden we're not.
All of a sudden we're not. So, but that's again a big thing to think about with your prepping, right? Is things can get cut off. And, we all like, I know we tell each other at parties that we don't go to Walmart and we hate it, but really like Tractor Supply is like another version of Walmart.
It's basically Walmart
stuff. And yeah, right. So
Target, it's Walmart.
We like really cheap things from China, that we can get something that provides a service. Like, I mean, how many cameras do you buy for like $20 or whatever?
Right.
Because you're like, the China thing, I can just put it on my computer, it'll work and whatever. Or the knockoff gun sites, or, whatever. Yep. We can buy those and they're really cheap, and it just makes it easy because I can have an extra set and throw it there.
The Temu version of everything, right?
So, yeah, exactly. So just think about that with your prepping, is maybe get the things that are a reasonable price right now. And maybe it's not ATN $1,600 binoculars, but maybe it is that forestry set trigger. I mean, I'm just saying. I was able to get the forestry set trigger from, it's called the Super Safety trigger, to work. I guess a couple companies were putting these out because they're like a 3D printer kind of thing, and then you can get it made in steel or whatever. But like I said, they're not all the dream. It's basically you get what you pay for, right? So not having to modify anything and have it just work, that's where the Partisan Arms trigger, to me, it's a no-brainer. I would spend the money. But again, I'm kind of at the point in life where money's a little bit easier than time. But I also will say, burning $100 of ammo just trying to get the one thing to work, then maybe I didn't save money buying the cheap trigger, right? So, whereas Partisan, I didn't have to burn them. I went through 15 rounds. It was like, oh yeah. So I was like the Kool-Aid guy,
Yeah.
And yeah, everything was great. So anyway, we appreciate you guys, and you're awesome. So thanks for sticking around. With that, stay safe, and we'll talk to you guys next week.